Hi, I'm Laura McHarrie at The Hidden Edge with another tea break tip on how to use business models and tools to help you manage your growing business. Today we're looking at how to use Johnson and Scholes cultural web model. Really useful tool to help you identify incongruence between your business values and the way it behaves. Gerry Johnson and Kevan Scholes depicted the culture of business using a web of 6 elements that affect internal behaviour. The 7th element, which they call the paradigm, sits at the centre. The paradigm is a sum of the 6 elements, the embedded assumptions about the business, which are taken for granted and pretty much shared by everyone. So let's have a look at this model. There we go. The paradigm, as mentioned, sits at the centre of this. It sets the assumptions about the organisation which is held in common and taken for granted in the business. The stories. These are the stories told by members of the organisations to each other, to outsiders, to new recruits and so on. They embed the present in its organisational history and flag up important events and personalities, as well as mavericks who deviate from the norm. You can almost hear the "do you remember when," can't you? Other symbols, aspects of the organisation, such as logos, offices, cars, car parks, and titles. The types of language and terminology that's commonly used, and these symbols become shorthand representation of the nature of the organisation. Power structures. These are likely to be associated with key constructs of the paradigm. The most powerful managerial groupings in the organisation are likely to be the ones most associated with core assumptions and beliefs about what is important. The formal organisational structure, or the informal ways in which the organisation works, are also likely to reflect power structures. And again, delineate important relationships and emphasise what is important in the organisation. The formalised control systems, measurements and reward systems that monitor and therefore emphasise what is important in the organisation also focus attention and activity. Routine. The routine ways that members of the organisation behave towards each other. These are the ways we do things around here, which at their best lubricate the working of the organisation and may provide a distinctive and beneficial organisational competency. However, they also represent a taken for grantedness about how things should happen, which is extremely difficult to change and highly protective of core assumptions in the paradigm. The rituals of organisational life, such as training programs, promotion and assessment, point to what is important in the organisation, reinforcing the way we do things around here and signal what is especially valued. So how might we use this model? We can remap the strategic change. The mapping exercise can be especially useful in getting managers and owner managers to think about what can affect change in the culture of the organisation. Whilst we have already thought about what actually happens, this is the point where we want to think about what our values are and how we really want the strategic culture to look like in the 6 different elements: the stories, the symbols, the power structure, the company structure, the control systems, the rituals and routines. We need to ask lots of questions now. Which aspects of change are relatively straightforward to manage and which are difficult? For example, managers may conclude that the ones which are most likely to be straightforward to move from poor to good will be those that are to do with structure and systems. And the more difficult are likely to be the symbolic and routine aspects of the organisation, which have been embedded over years of organisational history. Are there, though, any changes that would have particularly high impact? This might be because they especially symbolise a significant change or some aspect of the strategy that you would like to be followed. And maybe when you implement a change in one area, it will have a knock-on effect elsewhere. Even managing or suggesting change itself will become a story and a symbol of change in the future. So you're starting off new stories. Culture is often seen as a barrier to change, the more so because it is difficult to be clear about what it is meant by, or if anything can be done to change it. The cultural web has proven to be a useful device for achieving some clarity on what constitutes the culture of an organisation, why this is significant on strategy development, and the ways in it might be possible to manage change. So what cultural paradigm is your business operating in? Is the business dictating the strategy, or rather than the managers leading it? What rituals are beginning to embed unconsciously? Are they good for the business, or might they come back to bite you at a later date? Have a go at this exercise yourself. You can download the template from the Hidden Edge website. Do share your stories there too. I'm building a portfolio of small business case studies and would love to include examples of what has worked well for you. So that's it, the end of Tea Break Top Tip for today, and until next time, cup of tea.